Jeremy Corbyn, congratulations. You've got a fantastically increased mandate, but what you've got is 300,000 or more members who are very angry with their local MPs who opposed you. If they now want to move against those MPs, that's democracy, isn't it?
Hang on a minute, we've just had an election. 500,000 people take part in an election, huge turnout, big debates, and we end with a call for unity and agreement on that. Can't we be happy about that? And those 300,000 members are all over the country. Some of them sadly don't have Labour MPs. They live in constituencies not represented by Labour MPs. And a majority of every section gave me an overwhelming mandate. And so I've given a speech there, which I'm sure you heard, which was about bringing the party together on the issues we agree on, bringing the party together in a democratic way, and also improving democracy in the party. I fully understand all of that, and that's going to happen.
So that's a clear message, is it, to the members not to go after people like Mike Gapes or Stella Creasy, who are feeling vulnerable?
My message to the members is, get out there next Saturday campaigning against grammar schools and the return of the 11 plus. Get out there campaigning for a good school for every child in the whole country, and come together on the policies that we agree on. Boundary changes are going to come despite the fact that 2 million people aren't being properly counted in that process, and MPs will then be up for selection at that point. But it's not about individuals. It's not about individuals. It's not about attacking people. It's quite the opposite. I never actually attack any individual MPs, you probably noticed.
No, but your supporters do. I mean, as you know, on social media and at meetings.
I made it very clear that there should be no abusive language used by anybody at any point. I said that again absolutely clearly today. I had a code of conduct from my campaign, and that code of conduct will continue to apply.
There is a lot of bitterness, though, in the party, isn't there? I mean, the campaign was difficult at times, as you acknowledged on the stage. How do you really unite the factions here? I mean, what can you do? I mean, do you want the Labour Party to be a broad church?
The Labour Party is a broad church and always will be a broad church. A party with such a huge membership is bound to have a diversity of views, diversity of everything within it, which is good and healthy. So you have to come together around the broad principles, and the broad principles are about inequality in Britain, are about social justice in our society, and are about the way we face the rest of the world. Are we going to go on forever with a Tory government that is giving tax breaks to the rich and poverty to the poor, bad wages, insecure jobs, and low quality housing for so many people? Things can be done very differently, and Labour is offering to do things very differently in Britain. Real social justice for everybody.
And if those dozens of MPs who really aren't supporters of yours, think you're useless, in fact, is the word a lot of them use, want to carry on the way you carried on when Labour was controlled by New Labour, do you think that is good for the party? Is that good for feeding in ideas?
Yes, of course I had some disagreements with the previous Labour government on Iraq war, for example, on student fees and so on. But I absolutely supported that government in Sure Start, in bringing in children's centres. I absolutely supported that government on decent home standard, all those issues. And actually, you, if I may say so, become very concerned about what MPs may or may not say about particular issues. In total and in general, actually, we're largely agreed.
Your first campaign is going to be about grammar schools.
Yeah.
You clearly think grammar schools are bad for the general population. Do you think people who send their children to grammar schools are doing something wrong?
No, I think they're making the best choice is available for them, for their children. But I think that the return of the 11 plus would be divisive within our society, because if you have a selection system for education at the age of 11, the majority of children are not going to go to a grammar school. They're going to go to something else. And the devastation to a child of being told at the age of 11, sorry, really sorry, you're not good enough to go to this school that we're putting lots of money in, you've got to go somewhere else. It's not fair on our children.
So do you want to remove selection? I mean, would you stop grammar schools that exist?
I would give it to local authorities to make that decision, but I wouldn't bring back the 11 plus overall. So in fact, the numbers of grammar schools are quite small across the whole country. I think there is a mood now that we want to see proper funding, good investment and good schools for all our children. Actually, children growing up together in a school which is a multi-ability school actually is good for society as a whole. Most other countries don't even think in terms of selection. It's a British thing.
You once said annual leadership elections might be a good idea. Do you still
Well,
think
we've
that
already had them, haven't
after
we?
this one? Well, you've had one. I mean, how about another one next year? I mean,
Well-
when is your next test if it's not the general election?
The test is that we're going to grow as a party in terms of support, we're going to grow as a party in terms of development of our policies, we're going to grow as a party in terms of our activity and our membership. And I hope that all of our friends in the media will be prepared to listen to and recognise the huge policy changes we've made, particularly on the economy, which have now become mainstream. Nobody's now arguing for austerity anymore except the Tory government.
Right, now you need to work out what to do about your shadow cabinet, because you've got vacancies. What is your personal view on whether MPs and party members should have a democratic say on who is in the shadow cabinet? I know this is being discussed by everybody, but what's your personal
There's
view?
a huge debate, and democracy's got to be extended. Democracy's got to be extended to include the views of MPs. It's got to be extended to include the views of ordinary members of the party. Because clearly, if somebody's joined a political party, they've done it for a reason, because they support that party, they like the party, but they've also done it, and I've had lots of discussions with new members who are brimming full of ideas and feel frustrated they're not being heard. I want to make sure they're heard.
So they will get to choose who's in your team?
We haven't decided that yet. We are having a lot of discussions at the moment, very intensive discussions. It's very interesting, and a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and they say to me, thank you very much for talking and listening, let's take it forward.
Jeremy Corbyn, thank you very much.
Thank you.